hearty bounty is taken from the road woman: water, mead, fish, and a brand new crossbow which Drake has claimed for his own. The trauma caused to some during the escapade is considered to be a fair trade-off when the boys gather around a fire that night and simply learn to drink the accumulated mental scars of this day and prior sunsets away with their acquired barrel of strong drink. The quality of the alcohol they consume themselves into belligerence is a fine product crafted by a master brewer and lord of the adjacent county. With no cups in their knapsacks, the trio of boys instead fill their helmets with that sweet and succulent beverage. Like their fathers and fathers' fathers, they drink around an open flame. Suddenly, like pixie magic, they don't seem to mind the differences. All that matters in the world right now is present company and the salted striped bass roasting on the crude spit Tristan manufactured. Salt which Drake swiped unbeknownst to the others, as he'd intended to sell it for a pretty stack of coin. He decided to share good on him.
So lads, something we ought to talk about before getting into town tomorrow.
Jonald props his partially filled helmet onto a nearby rock and assumes a business look. He folds his hands, then straightens the slouch in his back, so he sits more upright than the other two.
Do you hear the blandish out this guy? I see a favor's about to be asked.
No, it's rather serious and involves us all. You two need to tell the town that you dragged me out that battle, that I was unconscious.
Drake and Tristan swivel to view the other's reaction. They burst out in laughter. Tristan washes the humor down with another swig of helmet mead.
Come on now, Jonald. Nobody's gonna believe that. Besides, we country bumpkins got no reason to be fibbing for you.
Drake's expression falls flat all at once. He leans back in his seat of earth and rests his back onto a tree.
You got to give something in exchange for that. The woman from earlier, she made us out at first sight. What do you think's gonna happen to us if someone with more say decides the same thing?
I'm no deserter. You saw those things as well as I did. You know, there was no choice. There was nothing else I could have done, unless you would rather be strung up by your entrails as a part of some hidden ritual.
The Lynch and Pin Company didn't deserve the way you left them. Maybe we ain't hung up by our entrails, but they sure as hell are by now.
And who the hell are you to preach to me? I seen you pulled off the line for the chopping block to fight. So shut your goddamn mouth. I made a decision, and guess what? You followed the order, Drake.
They lock horns. With a contest of wordless starring, they measure one another. The crackle and pop of the fire warms. The chill they contribute to the air, yet the steep shadows cast by the flames has the look on the others' face far more devious than it ought to appear. Tristan leans forward and pulls his fish from the fire. He burns his fingers and places his burnt tips onto his tongue. As his fish cools, he looks between the opposing forces. Drake has a hand near the dagger at his belt.
What Jonald did, a little hen-hearted, and don't know how I feel about it yet. But he's right. We chose to follow his orders, and so did everyone else on the southern flank. He probably had no business being a constable, but it's done with. So Drake, if you pull on him, I'm going to take his side in the fight.
Thanks, Tristan, but stay your hand. Don't matter what either of you think. I was the constable, and when you two were playing in the mud, I was attending my father's war council meetings and learning to fight. I can take him on my own.
So asking us for a favor in one breath and putting us down with another. Okay, tell you what. You shouldn't argue with swine. Make me town bailiff, and I'll dance to your tune like everyone else in your piggy life.
I'm the lord of these lands because my father is unaccounted for in the war. They haven't seen him, or me for that matter, for 6 years. I cannot arrive and just replace the current bailiff with some boy. I'll bid for you to become a lieutenant in the town guard. Give it some years and I'll work you in as the next bailiff.
Fair. I'll take lieutenant.
And what about you? You got a teat you want to suckle off this pig.
When you say it like that, no. I'm not a fan of pig teat. If we're using metaphors, I'd say I want the cow's milk in the cow. Make me a treasurer. I can read and write. In addition, I want you to write me in as a part of your family. I want the right to own land.
Holy shit, that's no milking cow. If this is a metaphor, you're asking to take my wife and have me watch while you do it.
It's a fair ask. I know the politics at this level so I can blend in. And I can't have you tying me up as a loose end once you seat your power in these lands. Otherwise, I'm fine with telling the truth and just moving on.
Look at the bite on this guy. I'm with him. Give up your wife or else we both talk. I can see this being a beneficial friendship down that little road we call life.
So I have one of you as my bailiff and the other as my cousin and treasure, and they have a dirty little secret on me. If two people in power were to ever get together and decide to screw me over, it would be you two. Why should I do this? Who believe you two anyways? Two dirty little foot soldiers.
I'm not trying to sell this either. You're either for it or not. Having two dirty little foot soldiers sing your praises after being gone for 6 years, however, gives you some kind of credibility rather than just showing up out of nowhere. So stop your fussing and just say yes or no.
Fine, but you better make these praises good. And let me remind you that if after I do all this for you two and you slip up with your story and everyone doubts me, they are going to also doubt you too. We are war heroes. The story stays the same even if some straggler from that battle says otherwise.
They come to a mutual understanding. Lies and secrets in exchange for positions of power. Oh, how their forefathers would be proud. They consummate the agreement with a clang of helmets, then chugging their contents. At their own pace they reel from the sudden hit of alcohol to their bloodstreams. Heads go foggy, and cares are lost to intoxication. See how easy it is to become friends. A little conversation and a helmet's worth of mead can go a long way in ways of getting along.
Well, I guess we pour another round. Got plenty, don't we?
More than I care to carry in the morrow. So I say we got a good 4 to 5 rounds to go before we try to lug the thing around with us.
Do the honors, Tristan.
Say, how's the air by the way? Don't look too bad from here.
You were looking to stab me a minute ago, now you care about how I'm feeling. If you have to know, it etches.
He's a sack sire, and those folks are batshit crazy.
We ain't crazy, mate, just passionate. Passionate for violence and passionate lovers. And you note all that's in between those two things.
The laughter is slow to return, but it does return with a thunderous applause and grows more intense the longer the night burns away frivolously. And as the twilight draws beyond where the moon is center of the east and west horizons, the boys continue to carry on in brackish conversations they shan't remember come sunrise. What they discuss is nothing special really. Have you ever heard young men debate over a woman's anatomy? Well, if you haven't, you aren't missing anything. And neither are you missing out on any of the conversations they are having in their current state of belligerence.